This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by State Farm Insurance.
Well, no argument here. We have certainly had some strong storms this summer, storms that have caused a ton of damage around our region. Homes damaged, trees uprooted. Some families had to deal with no power for days on end.
And we're not out of the woods just quite yet. It's still hurricane season and summer storms can come fast and pack a punch. So you want to make sure your home is protected. After all, it may be the biggest investment you ever make.
Now, even if you don't own a home, you can still protect your belongings. And joining us today to explain is State Farm agent Gamey Elliott of Salisbury. Thanks for coming in.
Hi,
today.
nice to be here.
Let's start out with the very top. What is and what is not covered? What is covered?
The basic things are that it's covered for accidental direct physical loss, and such things as fire, lightning, wind and hail, theft, those types of things are covered under homeowners insurance.
All right,
what about the plumbing system?
And the plumbing system as well.
Cover that as well?
Sure.
For when it freezes in the winter?
Yep.
Nice.
All right. Now, sometimes when we have storms, we obviously have power outages, and we can lose a lot of food in our freezer. It always happens the day after you go to the store, right?
Right.
Is that covered?
That is covered under homeowners insurance, but you have to remember it's subject to your deductible. So it is important to also know what your deductibles are, whether it's $500 or $1,000. But yes, food spoilage due to power outages is covered.
I did not know that.
Now, we talk about homeowners insurance, but that doesn't just mean the house. I mean, there's other things on the property that we need to take into consideration too.
Right. It's not only the home, it's also out structures such as sheds, fencing, pools, flagpoles, and you need to let your agent know about that so that you make sure that it's properly covered. You also need to watch out for any exposures. You know, pools are an extra exposure and they're supposed to be fenced, as well as if you have a trampoline, you need to let your agent know these exposures so they can tell you how to rule on that. So these are all things that you should be aware of.
Yep, and they are good at telling you how much you should insure. I mean, how do we determine how much?
Basically, what we're looking for in the insurance industry is 100% replacement cost. And that basically, we have cost calculators. I know some people do it by square footage. It's not necessarily market value, but we focus on what is the construction cost to re-stick build your home. And so that's what we calculate based on, and the amenities within the home as well. So we have cost calculators for that. You should give your agent a call and make sure that you have it properly insured.
Okay, so we had this big economic thing in 2008. So let's say we got our home, our property covered just before that big crash, and then of course we've got it insured for that, but then after this big crash, it's not valued as much. Should we adjust depending on the market value?
Well, you certainly should take that into consideration. If you purchased your home in 2008 or when the market was extremely high, you may need to take another look at that because if it has dropped significantly, again, we are focused on the replacement cost. So we can calculate that replacement cost value. General homeowners did not go extremely high during that period of time, so it didn't drop extremely low. But if you either bought a home during that period of time or you requested additional coverage in light of that time, you may want to look at that now and have that readjusted.
And we've been talking about homeowners a lot. Renters need to have insurance too.
That's very important because a lot of people assume that renters, it's covered by the landlord, and it's really not. You need to have your own policy because remember, homeowners is the building, contents, and liability. And with renters, you still have contents and liability. So only 1 in 3 renters have renter's insurance, and it's really important. They don't realize they don't have it until they have a loss, and then they want to claim that. So it's very important. It's very reasonable. It's $200 per year, just to give you a ballpark idea. And I tell people the most important reason to carry renter's insurance is for the liability coverage.
Just that alone. Well, now I can see with renters, and I guess certainly with homeowners as well, you need to know what you have.
Yes. Having a proper inventory is very important. The more you can do at the time of a loss to help us with what it is that you're claiming, the better your claim will go. So we know you have tables and chairs and knives, forks, and spoons, but what we're really concerned about is to make sure that you have things like high theft prone items covered, such as jewelry. If you have insurable items, it's nice to have a brief description of those items, any receipts or photos, an update of inventory that you keep, and keep that in an off-site location so that if you have a disaster disaster, it's not lost in the disaster.
Right, right. I know my parents take pictures of all of their stuff and keep it in a safe in
Yeah,
case there's a fire or
that
something.
would be a great thing, or videos.
I hate to admit this, I get started and I never finish the project. I haven't finished the project.
Well, you better get to that.
I guess so.
That's right.
I'm going to get in trouble from gaming here.
Yes.
A
Yes.
lot of information there,
Yes.
and I think the bottom line is just to talk to your agent. That's what
Right.
you're there
We
for.
believe that's the value of a local personal agent that you have, and so we encourage people to contact their company, to contact their local agent, and to talk to them about the coverages that they do have, because again, we don't want any surprises come claim time.
Know what you need to know. Gamey Elliott, thank you so much for
Thanks.
coming in. It's
Okay,
great having
great.
you here.
Thank
And
you.
if you missed any of it, go to delmarvalife.com and click on the show tab. Still ahead on Delmarva Life, we pay a visit to today's J. Millard Toss Crab and Clam Bake in Crisfield. It's an event known for its food. We'll find out how to make one of the favorites.
And next, prescription medications, if not taken correctly, can create huge health risks and maybe sometimes even lead to death. We're going to tell you about a new system that organizes all your medications in easy-to-use pouches.